Welcome to TV Africa News, and thank you for always joining us. This is Africa Today. My name is Najma Lima, but first are the headlines. Bank of Uganda announces increase in lending rate to arrest inflation. NRM releases revised roadmap for primaries for women councils. Angola hosts a meeting between DRC and Rwanda. Komuntale scores Waldi gets a sent off as Uganda falls to Morocco. Welcome once again to the news in detail. The Bank of Uganda has announced an increase in the central bank rate by a 1 percentage point to 8.5%. This is in response to the persistent inflation in the country. We have more. In a statement that was released on Tuesday, the bank said that this decision was taken at an extraordinary monetary policy committee meeting held on Monday, July 4th, 2022. Michael Ating-Ego, who is the bank's deputy governor, said in the statement that the increase was necessary to stabilize inflation. Accordingly, the MPC raised the CBR to 8.5% and maintained the band on the CBR at +/-2 percentage points. The margins on the CBR for the rediscount and bank rates remain at 3 percentage points and 4 percentage points, respectively. Consequently, the rediscount and bank rates are now 11.5% and 12.5% respectively. According to the statement, the central bank also increased the cash reserve requirement by 2 percentage points to 10% effective June 23, 2022. Ating-Ego stated that inflation continues to rise in the country, largely influenced by external cost pressures stemming from higher global food and energy prices, persisting global production and distribution challenges, as well as rising domestic food crop prices due to dry weather across the country. He said that the annual headline and core inflation rose to 6.8% and 5.5% in June 2022 from 6.3% and 5.1% in May 2022 respectively. The NRM Electoral Commission Chairman Dr. Tango Doi has asked NRM women across the country to make efforts and ensure that NRM Women Council elections are a success. He said this while releasing a revised roadmap for NRM primaries for women councils at village level. Nalugo has more.
Addressing journalists at the NRM Electoral Commission offices in Kampala, the NRM Electoral Commission Chairman, Dr. Tango Doi, said that following the suspension of the Women Council Committee elections by the National Electoral Commission, the earlier roadmap was also suspended, hence releasing a new roadmap.
We have now come up with a new roadmap for the Women Council Committee elections for NRM flag bearers.
Odoi said that beginning Sunday 10th to Tuesday 12th July, the Commission will be filling gaps at sub-county, parish and village levels.
We have gaps at those levels where some of our registrars died at village level, some of them got gainful employment and therefore left our voluntary work of registrar. Some of them have since shown a bit of political disharmony. So when those gaps exist, from 10th to 12th July, we shall be filling those gaps.
On Thursday, 14th July, the Commission will compile the NRM Women Voters Register at village level, and the election for Women Council flag bearers will take place on that same date. Endorsement of NRM flag bearers at sub-county level will take place from Saturday, 16th July to Wednesday, 20th July 2022. Tango Doi therefore urged all NRM women to move in and make sure these elections are a success.
I want to thank all of you, and I want to request all women in Uganda, Women League, NRM Women League, the Women Council, the Ministry of State for Gender Women, that all of us should now move in to make sure this election is a success.
Tangodoi, however, emphasized that they want to be ready for these elections, but will also wait for the National Electoral Commission to get ready for the same.
The Uganda People's Congress has urged all teachers to restrain themselves from carrying out a silent industrial action which can be manifested through dodging classes and other factors. The call was made by Arach Oyat Sharon, the party spokesperson, during a press briefing at their headquarters in Kampala. Ahumsa reports.
After 3 weeks of laying down their tools, the arts teachers on Monday bowed to government pressure and decided to call off the strike, a decision that was made after President Museveni engaged them during a meeting at Kololo Independence Grounds in Kampala. However, the Uganda People's Congress Party has urged all teachers to restrain themselves from carrying out a silent industrial action which can be manifested through dodging classes, meager curriculum coverage, and taking sabbaticals without notice, but called upon them to do their part in educating the next generation since government has committed itself to harmonize their salaries. Speaking to the media at their headquarters in Kampala, Arach Oyat Sharon, the party spokesperson, said that UPC is equally watching with a very keen interest in the Speaker's call to the Prime Minister to explain to the Assembly what specific plans the government has for the teaching fraternity, saying the initiative will help in resolving the crisis likely to bound if teachers' grievances are not solved. According to Sharon, the commitment of government to enhance salaries of teachers should be worked out with the specifics in the intervening period and binding documents. On the other hand, the party also congratulated the Muslim fraternity in celebration of Eid al-Adha, slated on Saturday 9th July 2022, cautioning them to be mindful of those lacking and sharing with one another to bring joy in the hearts of others and give hope and encouragement to one another.
Let's take a quick break. We will be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching TV Africa News, The Right to Know. Angola's capital, Luanda, hosts on Wednesday an attempt at mediation between the presidents of the Democratic Republic of Congo and neighboring Rwanda. The meeting takes place against the background of tensions between the two countries.
Angolan President João Lourenço will receive his counterparts Felix Tshisekedi and Paul Kagame as relations between the two countries have been deteriorating for several weeks amid the resurgence of the M23 rebel movement and the intensification of fighting in eastern DRC. Kinshasa accuses Kigali of supporting the rebels, a claim denied by the Rwandan authorities. Defeated in 2013, the M23 Tutsi-dominated movement took up arms again at the end of last year, blaming the Congolese authorities for not respecting an agreement for the demobilization and reintegration of its fighters. In May and June, M23 attacks caused the death of several dozen civilians. More than 170,000 people were displaced to neighboring Uganda. Last month, East African leaders agreed to set up a regional force to try to end the conflict.
Moving on, Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed said that he met Sudan's coup leader Abdel Fattah al-Burhan in Nairobi on Tuesday and that both committed to dialogue to resolve any differences. The talks follow a clash in a volatile border region last month in which Khartoum said that Ethiopian forces had captured and killed Sudanese troops, claims denied by Addis Ababa. Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed said in a Twitter post accompanied by a picture of the two men that they have both agreed that their two countries have plenty of collaborative elements to work on peacefully. The meeting took place on the sidelines of a meeting of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, a 7-country regional body. Burhan said that IGAD meeting gave them an opportunity to take stock of the response to challenges in the region, but he did not elaborate. Sudanese ruling Sovereign Council said only that there had been a closed-door meeting between Burhan and Abiy. IGAD and the African Union voiced an alarm last week over the escalating tensions between Ethiopia and Sudan following the incident in the disputed Al-Fashaq border area. IGAD, along with the United Nations and the AU, has been pressing for talks between the army and the civilians. Away from that, French forces in the Sahel will switch operating mode after they leave Mali, acting more in support of local forces rather than substituting for them, according to their commander. After nearly a decade fighting militants in Mali, France is pulling its troops out of the country after failing out with its military junta.
President Emmanuel Macron announced the withdrawal of French forces from Mali in February, saying Operation Barkhane would continue elsewhere in the Sahel, but in a smaller and configured form. In an interview with the media, Barkhane Commander General Lieutenant Mission said the force now had less than 2,000 men left in Mali. The pullout was on track for completion by the end of summer, as the president has requested. Mission say that around 2,500 French troops will remain in the Sahel when the operation is over, but that depends above all on the wishes of the African states. Illustrating the closer cooperation, Mission said that last year a French unit of the Mali-Niger border was placed under the command of a Nigerian general in charge of the area. And in March, French set up a partnership HQ in the Niger capital Niamey with the goal of working with African officers embedded in Barkhane. The general said that as for the pullout, France has already left its bases in Gossi and Menaka in the central Mali and is currently disengaging from a camp in Gao.
Authorities in Conakry have arrested 3 members of an opposition organization, including its national coordinator Fonike Magu, also known as Omar Silla. The arrests took place on Tuesday during a press briefing held at the headquarters of the coalition that aims for a return to constitutional order. The National Front for the Defense of the Constitution, FNDC, has recently threatened to demonstrate against the military junta led by Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya that replaced former President Alpha Condé. Speaking after the arrests, the coalition vowed to continue to fight for democracy. The FNDC is a sentinel of democracy. We have decided to fight for a return to constitutional order, said Ibrahima Diallo, FNDC operations officer. The FNDC coalition orchestrated months of mobilization against former President Alpha Condé, deposed last September. The head of the military junta, Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, has pledged to hand over power to elected civilians within 3 years. The Economic Community of West African States rejected this deadline at a meeting in Accra on Sunday without announcing new sanctions against Guinea, which is already suspended from the organization's bodies. Let's once again take a quick break. We will be right back. In our business news today, Zimbabwe's central bank has said that it will start issuing gold coins as legal tender in late July as the country battles to control soaring inflation that has considerably weakened the local currency. The gold coin is named Mosio Tunya after Victoria Falls and can be converted into cash, according to the Apex Bank.
The latest measure comes as the country's inflation rate more than doubled last month to 191%, bringing back memories of the hyperinflation of the 2000s that saw the Zimbabwean dollar redominated 3 times. The local currency would later be abandoned in 2009. Governor of the central bank, John Manguja, in a statement released on Monday, said that the gold coins will be available for sale to the public in both local currency and US dollars and other foreign currencies at a price based on the prevailing international price of gold and the cost production. The coins are expected to act as a store of value and to reduce the demand for US dollars, something that has been blamed for the weakening value of the local currency. There have been mixed feelings over the news as Zimbabweans experience when the central bank's policies is often of concern and uncertainty. Many Zimbabweans are known to have lost their savings, including pensions, when the Zimbabwean dollar crashed in 2009. The Southern African nation uses foreign currencies, mostly the US dollar, despite attempts to revive the local currency.
In our health news today, the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, Ruth Nankabirwa, has urged the population to embrace energy transition in order to conserve the environment through the liquefied petroleum gas scheme, which advocates for safe, clean cooking. Nankabirwa made the remarks during the launch of distribution of LPG cooking gas starter kits at Buguzon, Busabala Parish, Machindi, Sabagabo.
The Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, Ruth Nankabirwa, said to achieve environmental conservation, the government through her ministry has contracted Bahan Engineering Services to manufacture 1 million gas cylinders to be given to Ugandans free of charge. Nankabirwa said that the move is in line with the mandate of her ministry to establish, promote the development, strategically manage and safeguard the rational and sustainable exploitation and utilization of energy and mineral resources. She said that the National Development Plan Phase 3 emphasizes the need for increased uptake of LPG at the household level as part of the government's efforts to improve the quality of life. She added that the government of Uganda intends to support the development and use of LPG as an efficient and clean cooking technology and a viable alternative for a sustainable environment.
And finally, in our sports news today, Somaya Komuntale's wonderful free kick could only settle for a consolation as hosts Morocco overpowered past Uganda at the ongoing Women Africa Cup of Nations. In the game played at Mola Abdullah Sports Complex on Tuesday, the Crested Cranes fell 3-1 to Morocco. Ahumza reports.
Komuntale had given Uganda hope of getting a positive result with her well-taken free kick off the right wing, beating goalkeeper Khadija El Michie, cancelling out Rosella Ayene's opener from the spot. The roving left-back, however, saw red in the second half in a contentious incident that saw Morocco stretch their lead, with captain Ghislaine Chebak stretching the lead also from the spot. The other goal of Morocco was scored by defender El Chad Nesrain to help the Atlas Lions secure a berth into the knockout stage. Crested Cranes coach George Lutalo made 4 changes to the team that started against Senegal, with Hasfa Nasuna and Udaya Nakayenze ruled out after testing positive for COVID-19. Their places were taken by Sandra Naweteme and Margaret Namirimu respectively. The hosts took an early lead in the 14th minute, with Ayane converting from the spot after referee awarded a penalty. The result means Uganda needs to win against Burkina Faso on Friday to keep slight hopes of advancing in the quarterfinals as one of the best third places teams. Morocco, on the other hand, will face Senegal in a battle to determine the group leader.
That was the news. Thank you for always keeping it TV Africa. Please do stay tuned.